I hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to be showing off the deck that got me all the way to Duelist level 20 in this most recent Duelist Cup with a 60% win rate. Today I will be proving that HORUS Stun still works, even without Secret Villiage of the spellcasters, and if anything, that's made the deck even easier to play. The best part about this deck is it takes about 30 seconds to set up your end board, and about 10 seconds for your opponent to look at it and realize they can't do anything. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video to see the full deck list, and without further ado, let's get into the game. So going into our first game, I actually have 5 games to show you today because this deck absolutely crushes, and at speed too. We're going first, and we have one of the best opening hands we could ever wish for. We have the ideal Kashtira line, so we're going to start with the special summon Kashtira Unicorn, add the Theosis. Theosis will activate to target the Kashtira Unicorn, bring out a Fenrir. Fenrir will then activate to grab the last Kashtira monster in our deck, Kashtira Unicorn. We're then going to go Imseti, pitch itself and the Unicorn for free discard fodder there. Add the King Sark, draw into a triple taxi talent as well. Let's activate the King Sark. Let's go Imseti special summon before activating to play around Ogre. King Sark pitch the Evenly. Evenly still can be useful going first because of King Sark. We'll special summon the Happy after pitching it, and then we'll normal summon the Majesty's Fiend. We might as well go again with the triple tactics talent, and that is all we needed. This was about a 30-second game, and I will say I wanted to show this first because this is how most games go with this deck. Going into game number 2, we're going first once again, but I promise you this deck can go second, and we will show that in the following games. But let's focus on this one for now. We do not have the greatest hand in the world, but we do have an Imseti and a King Sark. Evenly matched will do for good discard fodder. Let's use Imseti, grab King Sark, and of course we draw into the other evenly matched, but that is fine. We have King Sark. Let's pitch the Evenly and send a Happy. We should have summoned Imseti first because that plays around Ogre, but we could have just activated another King Sark, so that's fine. We'll pitch that King Sark, send Dubatef. Dubatef will be special summoned here, and we might as well go all the way. We know he has no hand trap, so let's pitch the Call by the Grave, because we do also have the Soul Drain as well. Now, this might not look like a powerful board, but these monsters are all very, very powerful, and not to mention we're pretty much locking off the entire graveyard with this Floodgate. So let's see what our opponent has. Let's flip this into standby, just to put a little Souls-like cherry on top of the cake. He's going to go Circular Effect Special Summon, pitching Sigma. He's then going to normal summon Lady Debug to add Microcoder to hand. Remember, he cannot activate anything in the graveyard or banished here. He's then going to use the Lady Debug to go into Balinx. Balinx effects will activate. He does have a Parallel Exceed as well. He has extensions for days. His hair is looking stunning. He's going to summon the Parallel Exceed. He adds the Sanctuary of the Balinx, and then uses both the Balinx and the Exceed to go into Splash Mage. This is pretty much the typical Mathmech combo at the moment. Bring back the Parallel Exceed, link the Circular and the Exceed into Update Jammer. He's going to have to take a very weird line here because he can't activate the grave. He links using the Microcoder in hand and the Splash Coder into the Transcode Talker. Now at this point, I'm worried for my life. I know an access code is coming any minute now, and I should be scared. G-Golem Crystal Heart comes out. G-Golem Crystal Heart will bring out the Transcode Talker again, using the Crystal Heart and the Update Jammer to go into the Access Code Talker that we've been dreading. Is this the end of the game? Possibly. He gains up to 48, and he pops the King Sark, which is a big mistake because now all of our HORUS monsters are online. Here we go. Imseti 1, Dumatef 2, Happy 3, and Quebbersnef 4. What does that actually mean? Well, card target or destroy any of my monsters. We're going to add 2 cards back from Banished or Grave. Let's just grab the King Sark and the Call by the Grave. Let's draw 4, and then let's send the access code. Oh, no, he has a triple tactics talent. What will he do? He'll Pot of Greed here. Is that going to be enough? Of course it isn't. We've just drawn about 10 cards, and he can't do anything. This is what I mean when I say the HORUS monsters alone. You don't need to exease them off. They're perfect on their own. Going to game number 3. This is our long-awaited going second game. Now, I will say our opponent does make some misplays here, but this does showcase what the deck can do going second quite well. So I thought I would include it. We do have a very good hand for going second as well with the Pressure Planet and the Evenly Match and the Rules. He's going to start with normal summon Gadget Trio, search the Shining Sark. Shining Sark will activate. I'm surprised this deck is still around, but it can put up numbers. He searches Turn Silence, which is technically a negate. He's then going to go Ties That Bind, some of the Swordsman and the Magician, and Shining Sark does what Shining Sark does best, set 3 and pass back to us. Now, fortunately, nothing on this field says they can negate a trap. So let's go battle, let's do evenly matched. Now, for some reason, he goes Chainlink 2 Stronghold and then Chainlink 3 Turn Silence. Now, if he did it the other way round, Turn Silence first, he would have negated evenly matched. But for some reason, he just wanted to help us, you know, along for the replay. You know, he keeps the Shining Sark, and now we can pop off. Walls of the Imperial Tomb, main phase 2. Let's add the Imseti. Let's put back the Kashira Theosis so we can search it. Let's go Pressure Planet Wraiths off now. Activate, add the Kashira Unicorn. Special summon the Unicorn, use Unicorn effect to grab the Theosis that we just put back in the deck. We'll go Theosis effect, target the Unicorn, grab a Fenrir. And then we'll go Fenrir again, get one more discard fodder, the last Kashira monster in our deck. Imseti once again pitching that Unicorn. You can see this is consistent now. We draw the Crossout Designator off the draw one, and after adding the King Sark will activate, we'll special summon the Imseti, and now we might as well start pitching. We pitch the Maxi to go into Happy, we tribute the Imseti to get Majesty's Fiend up, and we'll set the Crossout Designator, because why not? Unfortunately, our effects are stopped, so we can't use any of these until he removes the Majesty's Fiend. He adds a Future Silence. He's then going to normal summon the Swordsman 0, and for some reason he does it in the battle phase, so we can both draw 6, but he doesn't capitalize. We've just got an entire board with 7 cards in our hand, and that's it. I mean, go for it. Send Imseti to the graveyard. Like I care. I'll just pitch Quebisnef and then summon them back. Like, yeah, why not? Let's stop the special summoning as well. Let's just go all in. Oh no, he's 2500 attack, King Sark. And GG, Sarcophagus versus Sarcophagus. Seems like the King Sarcophagus is better than a shiny one. GG, my friend. Now, the game would have been much different if, 1, our opponent didn't mess up the negate unevenly, and 2, didn't mess up the turn silence thing, or when he made us draw 6. But, even without that, we had solid ways out. Going into game number 4, we're going first once again. It is no surprise that we see Kashira Unicorn and Imseti in our hand, because this deck is more consistent than any I have played previously. Unfortunately, he will Ash the Unicorn, but that is completely fine. He does not know that there's an Imseti and a Triple Tactics waiting for him. We will go Unicorn, and let's banish that Junk Speeder. What an unfortunate way to lose your Junk Speeder. I didn't even have to negate it. We'll go Imseti pitching the walls because we know Ash is gone. We draw into the Theosis to special summon Fenrir, and we did also get the King Sark here, which is beautiful. We'll use the King Sark to special summon the Imseti. We'll use King Sark again, pitch the Happy, summon the Happy out, and then there we go. Majesty's Fiend, and why not Triple Tactics Talent? Let's see what he's got. Oh dear. It's all gas. But he can't activate any monster effects, so we will shuffle away the best one, which is the Revolution Synchron, and then we'll let him play. And by let him play, I mean let him hit the surrender button for us so that we don't have to swing into battle. I mean, if this isn't a testament to how consistent this deck gets its end board, I rest my case. Going to game number 5, and now if the last game didn't prove to you how consistent this is, this game certainly will. Now, the only starter we have here is a Walls of the Imperial Tomb, and unfortunately, we do have to pray that he doesn't have the Ash. He does have a Maxi, though, and fortunately for us, we have the Crossout Designator, with one of the few targets being Maxi, because everyone hates that little insect. Let's do the Crossout Designator to stop the Maxi from resolving here. And thankfully, that does mean Walls of the Imperial Tomb should be allowed to resolve here. We add the Imseti and place back the Solemn Judgment. Unfortunately, we're going to have to discard some of these floodgates. Imseti will pitch the Soul Drain. I think Teekboo is more impactful. We will use the walls to summon out the Imseti, and we will go King Sark, pitching the other walls that we drew to pitch a Happy, and that's all we've got. That's all we've got. A Happy, an Imseti, and a Teekboo, which is an incredibly strong floodgate. We are playing against Earthbound, Red Resonator, Red Dragon Archfiend, some pile of awesomeness that unfortunately is going to get shut down by a single floodgate. There are many, many decks that this exact thing will happen to. Unfortunately, that Kashira Unicorn is not doing anything for us, but we can use the Walls of the Imperial, add Dumatef, send that Kashira Unicorn back to deck, pitch the Dumatef for King Sark, get the Quebisnef, and there we go. We've got all our monsters online, and Teekboo, we don't care about Teekboo. Let's send that face down card for King Sark, just in case it's a morphing jar. We know how tricky they can be. Fiendish Golem will pitch the Duelist to keep him alive one more turn, but he made a big mistake because a monster is left the field by an opponent's card effect. So here we go. Let's send one card from the opponent's field, add 2 back, and protect the monsters that remain. We're going to add back the Maxi because why not? It might be helpful next turn. And Soul Drain for next turn as well. Forget that when we pitch cards, we can just add them back. That's why I don't care about pitching Floodgates. That's how consistent this deck can be. Standby phase. Flip the Soul Drain. I don't think there's anything you could do here, sir. Soul Resonator, he'll keep trying at the Red Lotus King, but unfortunately he realizes that the King is no match for the Queen. I'm the Queen. Without further ado, let's show off the card by card. This is the deck that we were running. As you saw in the games, the general goal of the deck is to get a free summon off of either the Kashtiras or the Horus monsters so that you contribute into a Vanity's Fiend or a Majesty's Fiend while still having usually some follow-up in terms of the Horus monsters or Kashtira monsters. Now, this makes the deck very, very simple. All you need to see is something that special summons and then one of these guys. Now, let's go through the card by card and show you how this deck fully utilizes that. So let's get the first two off the bat. Maxi is obvious pretty much in every single deck. The reason it is here is because this deck can go second as well, just because of the Horus and Kashtira cards. And plus, it's good to have for crossout, because we don't particularly care about many other hand traps. So into the stun stuff. We have Vanity's Fiend, we have Majesty's Fiend, 3 copies of each. Now, this may seem a bit bricky, but you have to remember, in a Horus deck, you can pretty much discard any bricks. So you don't care about seeing multiple of these as long as you have a way to get into King Sark. Of course, you do sometimes brick, but this is Yu-Gi-Oh! You're going to brick anyway. Now, generally I prefer Vanity's Fiend over Majesty's Fiend, and typically, if you just see the Horus line, you can get one of these out on the 5th summon, so you're not weak to nib at all. Next up, we have the Kashtira package, so we're running a very small Kashtira package. Mainly just for the free special summons. We have 1 Fenrir, 2 Unicorn, 1 Theosis, and 1 Pressure Planet. So the idea behind this is that it will pretty much always guarantee you at least 1 summon and 1 add, or in the best case scenario, 2 summons and an add, which is really, really good in terms of card advantage, which you need to be able to pitch into more King Sark stuff, and it adds to your end board as well. If you can keep these 2 up and get a Vanity's Fiend on, suddenly this is a really, really hard board to out, because if they out the Vanity's Fiend somehow, you can respond with the Fenrir and the Unicorn in most situations. But the reasoning behind just the Theosis and not having a bigger Kashtira package is because all we really want is the free bodies. We just want to see a Fenrir or a Unicorn on the board. We don't need both, but they can be helpful. If you draw into the Theosis, you can shuffle it back with the field spell, or you can pitch it off of the King Sark. Next, we have the Horus package, pretty self-explanatory. 3 Imseti, 1 Dumatef, 1 Happy, and 1 Quebisnef. Now, pretty much standard. I don't think you run the Black Flame Deity. I do not think it's worth it, even with the Walls of the Imperial Tomb. I've play-tested with it. It is not worth playing. I can say that much. Next on to draw cards. We need to draw a lot of cards in this deck to make sure we see either Imseti, King Sark, Field Spell, or even just getting into our stun cards. We have a Pot of Desires. Now, I don't usually like Pot of Desires, but Happy can grab cards back from Desires. So, as in the banished face down ones. So you can pretty much search 2 cards off of your Pot of Desires if you can get Happy as well. Pot of Extravagance is good because the extra deck doesn't matter too much, so 2 free draws is nice. Just be aware that you can't draw a Imseti after that. 2 Triple Taxi Talent, which seems a bit silly considering we have Majesty's Fiend, but again, it's just a way for us to crack back if we go second and give us a chance. Next, we have 3 Walls of the Imperial Tomb. This is just for consistency. I think it's really good at Ash bait as well. If people don't know what they're going against or they think you're desperate, they will Ash the Walls instead of, say, the Imseti or one of your pots, etc. 3 King Sark, again, obvious, we need 3 just to see it as consistently as possible. We have the Maxi counters, 2 Call by the Grave, 1 Crossout Designator. Crossout is pretty much just for Maxi, but it can sometimes come into the Kashtira monsters as well. 3 evenly matched in the main, which may seem questionable, but again, as I've repeated multiple times, you can pitch these. So if you're going first, it's not useless, and if you're going second, it could be game winning. And there are quite a few games where I've gone second, seen it evenly, and that's won me the entire game. Now for a couple more going first. Floodgates, I mean, Solemn Judgment, kind of necessary in a stun deck just for some kind of back row protection, but I actually genuinely think you can cut this for another Floodgate if you so wish. Soul Drain. This is one I don't see very often, but I think is really good this meta. It counters Fiendsmith almost entirely. Monsters that are banished and in the grave can't activate their effects, which is really, really, really good in this meta, I think. So we're running 2 of those to see those consistently, and of course Teak-Boo, because this deck works so well with it, we basically don't care about the restriction. Now I'll briefly go over the extra deck just to explain what we've got. So we've got a Shang, just in case we somehow end up on a line that's required. We have a Rise Heart, mainly for opponent Kashtira players, but we could technically go into that eventually. Gigant Trainer, just for a bit of burn and extra draw if you're really desperate for a Floodgate and you know what your opponent's on. Lancelot, just to attack directly with your Horus monsters so that he gets Zeus. Hope Harbinger is good into some matchups. Same with the Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord. Monster and Spell Negates can be good. Dingius is probably one of the best ones that you go into most frequently, just to protect your back row. But and then we have Zeus, Typhon, SP. Those are pretty self-explanatory. But I will say, this is an important note, most of the time, having 4 of the Horus monsters, or even 3, is going to be better than going into one of these, right? Especially if you have a Floodgate. Because the effects on these are really, really good. Like, send 1, draw cards, add 2 back. Like, these are crazy, crazy effects. And while you're running Floodgates, your opponent's going to want to remove those. So the beauty of it is, you have a Vanity's Fiend and 3 of these. They're going to remove the Vanity's Fiend. You're going to then send 1 card on the field to graveyard, draw multiple cards, add 2 back. You can even add the Vanities back. Like, I genuinely think in 90% of cases, it is best to stick with the Horus monsters. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you use to climb up the Duelist Cup and get those tasty, tasty gems down in the comments. I'm always interested in what you guys have to say. Anyway, that being said, if you made it this far in the video, please do feel free to hit subscribe. New Yu-Gi-Oh videos each week. And as always, happy dueling.